Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to the Batman Telltale series. So little happened in the last recording that I really don't even know where we are at this point. I think we are at the beginning of episode 5, but yeah. Basically nothing happened in episode 4. And now, having slept between episode 4 and episode 3, I really can't tell you much of what was happening there. There is another thought I certainly am having here as far as how it's saying each of these episodes is purchased and installed. I suspect heavily it would be completely impossible to buy individual episodes of this nowadays, which means there probably is some small percentage of people that bought like only episode 1. And really that's a case where that's the scenario where it should have just never happened. Like, you cannot really expect somebody is going to play episode 1, have no fun with it, and go, boy am I happy that I can't play episode 2. Particularly when they put considerable more effort into making episode 1 than they did any of the other episodes, at least of the ones we've seen. Like, each of these episodes between 2 and 4 have been at least half as long and half as good as episode 1. And there's putting your best foot forward, and then there is just straight up bait and switch. We also didn't get a previously on, or we didn't get a next time at the end of episode 4. We'll probably get a previously on 5, but yeah, I really don't feel like any of our decisions matter at all, particularly because this is Batman. Like, we know where this is going to end up. We took out Two-Face in the previous chapter. We could have taken out the Penguin.
That's why Vicky hates you. Your dad helped bump off her parents.
Why would my father have been failed?
And see, this was a conversation that didn't even happen.
Said he killed the Vales. She was born in Arkham. Victoria Arkham.
So where you gonna go?
I've got some other business I need to take care of.
So yeah, Catwoman's running off to rob somebody. Harvey Dent basically blew up a building. They really don't understand the limitations of power that a mayor in Gotham would have. That you could just all of a sudden turn the whole place into a police state with unlawful search and seizures and blow up buildings.
Without me, Gotham is doomed.
We burnt half of his body, which we didn't have a choice there, but we did have the choice to not burn or damage half of his face, so we now have a pretty faced Two-Face.
Tech is linked to this computer. If you take it offline, it
See,
will
yeah,
all
this
be
cutscene, Lucas
Penguin
wasn't
hacks
there
in, he'll have control of all of it.
either.
I have to shut it
They're
down.
showing you cutscenes from if you'd chosen for Lucas Fox to been in the Batcave when I chose to leave him at Wayne Tech as a spy. So when you see the game say it adapts to the choices you make and it responds to how you play, you know that that's just straight up a lie. This is the first time we've ever seen 5 days later. They should have been doing that the whole time.
High-profile Gotham citizens, including Police Commissioner Peter Grogan, who was taken while attempting to intervene. I repeat, the children of Arkham have taken hostages.
Carry on, gents. Boss says it's time to get the Bat's attention.
They introduced this Commissioner Grogan, and somehow I wasn't particularly
Batman's side
safe.
Right on top.
Like, so the bad tech is all being hacked, so I don't know how he even did the grapple swing. I guess the idea is maybe the grapple hook is one of the few pieces of his technology that's not actually connected to the Bat computer. Which, yeah, a lot of this totally does not make sense that you'd have batarangs or grapple hooks connected. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense that his suit could be just short-circuited. We're starting very early with cutscenes here. We didn't start with the previously on.
Not now.
And see, why would I care about this Commissioner Grogan? One bit. Why do I care about any of these characters? Why do I care about the story? It's just got me on the rails. If I'm watching a movie and I see someone shot, I don't really care about that person being shot. Because I know it's fiction. I know I have no control over it.
Commissioner! Commissioner! He's gone.
The Commissioner doesn't wear body armor, apparently, or you can just shoot him. And it's frankly an insult that you go through, like, that less than 5 minutes of gameplay and they give you an achievement. Just because they've give you an achievement for doing every scene. Yeah. I suppose if we had fixed the equipment
Thank God.
and
cops
not
flying, I've no idea
potentially
what's
saved
happening out there.
Alfred,
I always fear the worst.
we would have lost the Bat
I need to
Cave,
get back to the
maybe,
Batcave.
or lost
Figure out
the
Penguin's next move. I can't let him keep hurting.
Wayne
Listen.
Manor.
Penguin improved the armor.
Batman! Impressive as ever. Life off the grid must be treating you well, huh?
What's your point?
My point is,
And I assume these drones would just be controlled
you can't even stop
by
me off
Harvey
the police
Dent.
commissioner.
Had I
Without your toys, you're nothing.
tried to
Just turn
take down the
yourself
Penguin
over
instead of
to
Harvey
one
Dent.
man. Scouts on them, they'll go easy on you.
I don't need toys to deal with the likes of you.
You sure about that, Batman? Because from the look of it,
Yeah, what's the
you could use a
point
little help.
of him even wearing the mask anymore? It only made sense as a gas mask or to hide his identity. We already know he's Oswald Cobblepot. We should have seen him with the mask a lot more before we were introduced to Oswald
Just find a way
Cobblepot.
to hack into it. I can get to Penguin.
Let's see.
He's made improvements, even deadlier than before. Wayne Tech in Penguin's hands. It's a dangerous weapon.
Yeah, this is a great argument for the fact that Bruce Wayne should have never been inventing these kinds of things. We're gonna wire this into a phone. A very different looking phone compared to the phone we were using before. We've been seeing him use a flat, like iPhone style Wayne Tech phone, smartphone. The fact that he's now
One of his
using
managed to
a
device that targeted my armor.
flip
Penguin has
phone
more devices like that.
The Batsuit will be
makes
a
no
liability.
sense. Even if you were trying to
It's
say
already
he's
bad
using
shape.
this old
It
phone,
couldn't protect me from a knife, let alone Penguin's new arsenal. If Batman
if
can't
he
take
was
the fight to
specifically
Penguin, maybe
trying to
Bruce
use
Wayne
old
can.
technology,
Face Penguin as Bruce. Without your armor, you'll be more vulnerable, but far from helpless. And meeting him as Batman would play right into his hand.
Penguin thinks he knows me, but he has no idea what I'm really capable of.
He certainly doesn't. and that may be his undoing.
Besides, I won't be going alone. Get Gordon on the line. Give him our files on Oswald Cobblepot. Tell him that we did a little digging after he took my position as CEO. He should know who really killed Commissioner Grogan, and that the killer will be in Cobblepot Park. Tell him that Bruce Wayne will meet him there.
Yeah, if you were gonna go old school communication technology, I don't think a flip phone is old school enough.
Lieutenant, these officers are at risk. Penguin is...
Of course, they probably don't want to reanimate Batman finding a payphone, even though they already have a model of a landline phone that they could have used
I saw
from the Arkham Asylum.
transmitter hidden behind the statue.
Give us room.
Apparently,
Wayne Tech.
like,
Controlling the drones.
this is interesting. This is the first time we've seen any African American or dark-skinned police, and they just throw them in at the last episode, probably because people complained, a few people complained about just how many white people are in Gotham. Although, in all fairness, for the Batman comics, it is mostly white people.
Listening to the guy who publicly attacked him is at the top of his priority list.
I know exactly how to push Oz's buttons. I'll make him so mad the only thing he'll see is red.
That's all well and good, but he wants you dead.
Trust me, Lieutenant.
They are trying to
I'm
use
your
the
best
rain
shot at
effects
getting those
here,
officers out alive.
which is a nice improvement, but
I'm all out of
really
options.
doesn't make up for all the
I'll
glitches
go in
and just
around the back. If he
lack
sees
of polish that we have seen throughout the rest of this game.
You will get your chance.
keep the perimeter tight. If he suspects anything before those
I think they
drones
just
are
handed
offline,
that gun upside down
we're both dead.
to Gordon, and he's holding it upside down. I wish I could kind of rewind. That would be a nice feature, certainly, is if you could pause the cutscenes, rewind, and go forward.
It's a hell of a trap, Oz.
Alright, so it's... I would suspect this isn't really him at all. This is just another one of these awkward sequences where you just press forward and press forward and press forward until it starts playing a cutscene.
I hate them, Bruce.
It's really past the
Really hate
point
them.
to have a
I
flashback.
didn't want because my mum. Because she's in Arkham.
Those bullies aren't coming back.
They better not. Oh. They say bad things about my family.
This is like a kind of flashback that should have been in the first episode. Not in the last episode, where we really cannot care one bit about the Penguin now. He's totally crossed the line of being redeemed.
The Penguin's got a Wayne in Cobblepot Park.
Oswald.
Bruce! Welcome. The pigs are making it hard to bring in the bait for Batman. But now that you're here, I have the perfect lure. Not that I'm upset, but what does bring you by?
It's really just
Never
stupid.
known a Wayne to stick his neck out. Feels too good to be true.
We're gonna try and make him mad, I guess, was our
You have something in
statement.
mind, and I want it back.
And what thing is that, eh? Your company, your tower, your precious reputation? I've taken so very many things from you, Bruce, that I wouldn't know where to start. Still, I'm chuffed you popped by. So far, only Gotham's finest have bothered to show. They paid for sticking their snouts in where they don't belong. You know, I'm surprised Batman's not already here to save you. He's usually so on top of everything. Maybe I need to cause a few more screams.
Maybe you just aren't important enough.
And so we're gonna just pick decisions.
I'm nobody's lucky, Wayne. Lady Arkham and I are more partners in crime. And Batman will show. He just can't help himself when lives are at stake. And when he arrives, oh ho ho, the lights, the sounds, the blood running into the
Like,
gutter.
try and keep an eye on
Once he's out of the picture, there'll be
Lieutenant
nothing left in our way.
Gordon's gun to see if he's holding it the right way up, or if they just totally
Got some
animated
pretty
it.
big ideas for the city, and they're about to kick into gear.
How stupid are you? Do you actually believe her ravings?
Oh, she's right enough. There needs to be a changing of the guard. My motives are all very personal.
So the only reason they animated this as raining is to give him the penguin, the umbrella, so he looks more like a penguin character.
Me falling out of the gutter. You looking down from on high.
He still doesn't really look like.
Night and day.
Oh, and he's.
You'd hardly recognize us, would you?
So he's got a AI monocle.
I saw an opportunity and I took it, which is more than you ever had to do.
Which, yeah, they're definitely trying to. It looks like the gun is right side up now.
Damn it! Where the hell is he? He's usually so bloody prompt. Unless this wouldn't be some kind of plan, would it?
Yeah, it is an interesting idea to have the villains have.
Really come here all alone, Bruce. If anyone could afford to keep that brute on the payroll, it's you.
I don't need Batman's help to bring you down.
You hear that?
Yeah, it's an interesting idea to give him tech abilities,
Not that I don't think you can handle yourself.
but
You
it's
say
out of
you know how to
character,
beat
really.
down.
There should just be a new character that works for the Penguin that knows tech.
Looked like you were working out some issues there, hey Bruce?
You pissed me off, Oz. So you got what was coming to you.
Oh, I'll tell you what's coming to me. Revenge! And it's about bloody time. Your father locked my mum in Arkham Asylum to steal our fortune. He drove my own dad to suicide!
And this feels like a whole conversation
My entire
where
family.
it's just going to end up in the same place no
Enough of
matter
this.
what.
You trying to get me all shaken up? I'm not waiting any longer. Batman be damned. We're done chatting, old friend.
I wouldn't be surprised
Release
if
these drones.
we just
Make mutton out of you and all the lawmen round this park. And then on to the rest of this bloody city.
Your mother deserved Arkham. You heard me. She was insane, unfit to walk the streets. And you know it.
I'll kill you! I'll kill
This
you!
would be funny if this did end up in a game over, but we knew that wasn't going to happen. I half suspected maybe Lucius Fox would have hacked into the machines as we were talking, no matter what. Yeah, if you take the idea of giving technology ability to
Bloody pigs!
for the Penguin, then you would pretty much want to do the same thing in rethinking and recreating the.
Is that all you got?
Goodbye, Oswald.
Like the Joker and every other
Bring in his
character.
rights.
And yeah, all of the characters as far as the top tier Batman villains are so
I gotta admit,
fleshed out
you surprise me.
as characters.
about
Giving them
Gotham owes
new
you a debt.
traits is
The
basically
GCPD does too.
unwelcome. It's
I won't
set.
forget
Those kinds of characters are set in stone.
Thank you.
Didn't say anything. I guess I was too slow.
Changes anything, do ya? Lady Arkham's gonna have your heads served up on a platter.
So I imagine the sequence would have been almost exactly the same, except for this would have been Two-Face. It probably would have been still in Cobblepot Park. It's probably still would have had drones and the hacking equipment. If not, then what I suspect would have happened is we may have had this sequence happen at the end of episode 4, and then the sequence we did see happen at the end of episode 4 where we took down Two-Face happen here. Which, yeah, that would be smart for Telltale, and I definitely don't think Telltale was smart at any point, but it would have been smart for them to just write 2 sequences, 2 scenes, and based on your decision, flip which scene is shown first between the last 2 episodes.
Going offline kept Penguin from finding the Batcave, but it also scrambled our system. The Bat computer barely runs, and worse, most of my tech isn't working.
I seriously doubt Penguin would have ever found the Batcave.
If it gets running again.
It's kind of weird to get the credits popping up on screen too. Like, it would make a lot more sense if this was just a game that was pretty much just a kinetic visual novel where the story played forward, then you maybe had to press a button every now and then to move this from scene to scene.
I worry about the toll they've taken on you. Facing off against Harvey and Oswald in a matter of days. Not just the physical toll. Those were men you once trusted, and after finding out what you did about your father, people must seem a great disappointment to you. Always letting you down, even those whom you admire.
Well, not all people. You've never disappointed me, Alfred.
But I have. Everything that happened, I could have stopped it.
He's kind of right.
Done something all those years ago.
If he had just told Bruce the truth.
Fault. All of it. I told you I wanted to leave your father's employ. But if only I had the guts to do something instead. Your mother, she wanted that. Wanted to put an end to his crimes.
They're once again just really solidifying that
if I'd stopped
Thomas Wayne was a criminal.
None of these horrors would have occurred. Lady Arkham, Oswald, even Harvey.
I don't blame you for what happened, Alfred. You did the best you could in an impossible situation.
It almost would make sense if somehow he goes back in time and leaves Thomas, and that changes everything.
Thank you, Bruce.
But our work isn't done.
And pretty much at this point, the only person you can even be nice to is Alfred.
With both Penguin and Mayor Dent off the board, she's the only remaining piece.
We need to figure out her next move. The only thing we do know is that she moved on from her plan to poison the city. With Penguin gone and my CEO access restored, and finally log into Wayne Enterprises and see exactly what Oswald was doing during his time in charge.
Yeah, and I suspect we may not even see Lucas Fox or Lucius Fox again. Okay. So Gotham feed is down.
I need to get this working again.
And the codex.
Still offline.
Interesting to have the cussing. Like, for a game that really feels like it's trying to be very much just a T for teen game.
Vicky Vale, mid-30s, reporter for the Gotham Gazette, and not in the public record, her true name, Victoria Arkham.
To think she was here, in the manor. She gave nothing away of her true nature then.
What's really crazy is that she would have just, like, had to have kind of gone crazy or thought up this plan relatively recently. Or she's so crazy she's been plotting this since like the day she was adopted and her Arkham parents were killed.
The Gazette's records of the articles written by Vicky Vale.
Which just does definitely open the article.
You're right. There are notable gaps between entries, but yet it doesn't seem she ever left the Gazette's employ. So what was she doing in that
Yeah,
time?
this opens up the door that there could be all kinds of people that just hate Bruce Wayne because of what Thomas Wayne did that are going to show up as supervillains, and you could just keep on doing that for people. Eventually, they would pretty much run out of
their terrorist activity. They formed to get justice for those wronged in Arkham Asylum, but the message fell on deaf ears. Until they found a leader Gotham couldn't ignore.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if the second Batman Telltale game, The Enemy Within, I guess is what I think is the subtitle of that. I wouldn't be surprised if that also has 3 to 5 enemies that are directly against Bruce Wayne and Batman because of this new alternate universe take of Thomas Wayne being a criminal.
Vicky embraced this identity to follow through on her twisted crusade.
Her mask inspires fear. Not unlike Batman.
Her black eyes and sewn lips really scream like child abuse. In fact, that whole outfit with the black bands around it or black belts around it screams child abuse. I don't think they're really going to go deep into that, but it does seem like that there is a hint there that Vicky Vale was adopted by abusive step parents. But I mean, that really would be stupid to write a story that justifies her potentially trying to commit major terrorist actions in Gotham just because she was abused. And her actions also are kind of random in that it seems like she's not specifically just targeting Bruce Wayne, but all of Gotham with the gas attack. And I'm not following the full logic there. Of course, crazy supervillains tend not to have full logic anyways, but if she wanted just to punish Bruce Wayne, as a reporter, she could have put out the story much earlier about Thomas Wayne and exposed Bruce Wayne and make him just this hated pariah in Gotham for the rest of his life. Potentially have him lose Wayne Enterprises, have Oswald Cobblepot take it over. They really had won by the time episode 3 ended. They didn't need to do any more plotting for terrorist activity. And if she really just wanted to kill Bruce Wayne, it seems like she could have probably just had the children of Arkham attack Bruce Wayne's party that night in episode 1, almost the very first scene of the game, and attack Bruce Wayne as at least the first attempt, or try and poison him.
Your administrative access to Wayne Enterprises should have been reinstated by now, along with your title of CEO.
Let's see what Oswald
It's kind of funny, who's the IT guy that would restore access at Wayne Enterprises? Wouldn't that have been Lucas Fox?
Can we just
Lucius Fox? I can't pronounce those things. Okay. What's funny is you pull the left trigger here and you don't get a prompt. So, you can't search, you can't click on anything else. Let's start with financial reports.
Oswald certainly wasn't very frugal with my money.
You have a few yachts to return, it appears.
Also explains how the children of Arkham had a seemingly endless supply of guns. Oswald was using Wayne money to arm them.
So yeah, all we're doing here is just clicking on everything.
Oswald altered several public records using the Wayne network.
Okay. So we have a sub menu there.
Oswald was trying to buy an island.
What on earth for?
Looks like he was using his new legal control of Carmine Falcone's assets and likeness to brand the place. It's some kind of tourist attraction.
He was going to call it
Falcone Island.
That's probably a reference to the comic books. And I don't know why he would have legal access to
Arkham's next move.
To
of course
the likeness of Falcone. Like, that's clearly some plot hole they didn't.
Penguin was tapping into surveillance systems.
They didn't
Gotham.
put enough details or thought into.
Could be spied on from the CEO's office.
How is that any different than the back door into the Wayne network that he uncovered?
It's not. Unless. Hold on.
Okay, so now we've unlocked another thing. Let's look at these, I guess.
Oswald manipulated my records as well.
It would appear your degree was in sociology.
And my medical records.
There are some, well, but colorful diseases.
Annoying, but not hard to fix.
Oh, that's better.
What was his degree in? I wonder, Bruce Wayne. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Bruce Wayne did have some very useless degree.
No
we don't even know. I'm not sure the comics have ever said he even graduated from college.
His background is completely fabricated.
He was enrolled at Cambridge. Ridiculous.
Calm down, Alfred. I'm sure the board realizes by now that they were fooled.
All mention of her birth name, Victoria Arkham, is completely gone.
Wait. What's this? He also erased something from Vicky's research at the Gazette. I can't tell what was removed from here, but Wayne Tech leaves a trace when it alters data. One the Bat computer can decode.
What is it Miss Vale wanted to hide?
Yeah, this feels kind of intriguing, but also it feels just kind of boring. Interesting. I guess the records are just never going to be left. I'm pushing all the buttons just to see if maybe there's a way to scroll down, but it seems like there isn't. Oh, it says Cobblepot Enterprises there. I didn't even notice that. Can't do anything to undo it.
What do we have here? They did more than just look at these schematics. Every building in Gotham with a Wayne Tech security system can be accessed from here and remotely controlled. If Oswald was the brawn, Vicky is the brains. So let's check her file. She may have left clues about what she was using Oswald's access for.
Now we're getting another prompt to go back this way. Or maybe we're getting a prompt that we have to actually back out and go back to this, I guess. This is slow and frankly not much gameplay at all. It's going to be fairly pathetic if it turns out she's just trying to rob the place or rob some place. using Wayne Tech security. And once again, this is a scenario where it seems like Wayne Tech security has a back door that obviously was going to have somebody hack into it eventually, and they should have just had better security. Like, as somebody who has worked in IT and was trained in programming, the idea of programming backdoors is just an affront to security. It will never work. And it would be kind of nice if there was just one new superhero in the Justice League, in the Marvel and DC universe, or I guess that would be two new superheroes, one for each of those two separate publishers, that was just an IT guy who would run around and tell him, quit putting in these back doors, or would hack out back doors and improve it. Lucius Fox in particular could easily be the voice of that as far as Batman, but it's just such a convenient shortcut for writers to say, oh, there's a back door, or oh, there's a way to hack it, which, much like TV and movies, that's all computer security is in those medium, is a shortcut to say, oh, we can hack it and we can get this information that we'd have to struggle to get information before. What's really stupid is writers in general have become so lazy about using technology and saying you can hack it, or just throwing in a bunch of computer jargon that actually makes no sense at all, that they've shortchanged themselves the opportunity to really introduce an interesting character. It would be a lot more interesting right now, instead of hacking into the Wayne computers and messing with computers, for Bruce Wayne to have caught one of the children of Arkham and have a conversation and figure out who this person is and what their motivation is, and convince them to turn and give up information on Vicky Vale. That's much more relatable for most people, even most computer nerds. But instead, we have lazy computer trope, lazy hacking trope.
Now that we know how Oswald manipulated Vicky's records, the back computer should be able to... There. No more holes.
Yeah, it's really just total nonsense. Oh, so maybe she's been in Arkham too. Maybe she's just been crazy this whole time.
She was looking into Arkham patients, reviewing records, checking submissions, prior histories. She was trying to figure out who was actually sick and who was committed because of Hill, Falcone, and my father.
She might be looking for her real parents, but her real parents ran Arkham, weren't in Arkham, and that's a point I've confused twice now. She might be looking for really crazy people, though, instead of really sane people.
Vicky was digging deep. Gotham City records, Freedom of Information requests, posts to conspiracy forums. All to find...
It's a list. Gotham buildings that use Wayne Tech security systems.
It's a list of targets.
City Hall, Arkham Asylum, GCPD headquarters, Gotham First National. It's almost every landmark in the city.
We're onto something. Vicky wants to bypass the security at a Gotham landmark.
See, that's another achievement, so we are potentially a third of the way through this episode already.
And when she does, we'll find her.
Is she bypassing security to help?
Prototypes has been stolen.
By Lady Arkham?
Not quite. I'm patching you the feed now.
She stole from you? After we opened our doors to her.
She is a thief.
All that you two...
Alfred.
Yeah, I know, Bruce, but why would she do this?
She's scared?
That cold-hearted? That selfish?
Obviously.
She must have her reasons.
Well,
I'm sure she does.
The device she stole, it's a prototype. It's an electronic skeleton key. With it, you could bypass any security system made by Wayne Tech.
Lucius Fox
That
is
key
just
is
like
far too dangerous in
building
Miss Kyle's
totally the
hands,
wrong types of
especially with Lady Arkham still at
equipment.
large.
Get the car ready, Alfred.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some answers from Selina.
At a certain point, Lucius Fox may be the best supervillain in this Batman universe because he's just constantly creating problems for Gotham by putting in back doors and getting skeleton keys, making skeleton keys. Things Batman would just never need anyways.
Damn it. Hey, Bruce. I wasn't expecting you. Thought I'd make it outside the city limits at least. Clearly my ride needs a tune-up.
You should know by now not to underestimate me.
I thought you might be busy with, I don't know, saving the world. I'm flattered I rank so highly, but
Like
I
I'm
know
surprised
you're not here
we're
for me.
even
I don't blame you for wanting
bringing
it
her
back.
back as a character. It's just gonna be
I'm
a.
surprised you had a toy like this.
I suspect this is gonna take
No
like
doubt
20 minutes to have a
Batman is for the good of
conversation.
Gotham, but the less noble options are so much more exciting. Why should I give it back? So much potential. Just imagine what
Let's
I'd be
see.
able to dig my claws into.
A thief of your class doesn't need a device like that. It'd only be a crutch.
Says the man whose belt is an armory. Catch.
We're not getting
I
to
know
the
you're just
point.
playing into my pride, but you're right. I don't need a crutch.
Like why did she take it?
Oh, come on. Don't pretend you're not impressed. As long cons go, this one was a beauty. Getting into Wayne Tech's lab took a lot more than cracking a safe. I had to get close to people. Your friend Harvey. Poor guy just wanted to fall in love so bad. After that, it didn't take very long to get my introduction to his BFF. The great Bruce
Wow.
Wayne.
Slandering
Imagine
Catwoman.
my surprise when the rich playboy turned out to be Batman, scourge of Gotham.
This whole time,
I was always going to steal from Bruce Wayne.
the whole plan was
I
just to
never
rob him.
expected he'd be so interesting.
You talk a good game, but I don't buy it for a second. You're not that shallow.
You really think you know me that well?
I know that whatever this started as, that's not all it means to you now.
The only thing it means is that I'm very good at my job. I'm getting out of here while the getting's good. Gotham's a house on fire, and I'm not gonna burn with it.
She said that
If you were
before in the
smart,
previous
you'd get
chapter.
out of here too. This town hates you, hates your entire family. Just leave it all behind. Do something more meaningful with those skills of yours. You don't need the money, but think of the fun.
So she wants him to be a
Gotham needs me.
thief like
And I
her.
won't abandon the people of this city, no matter how they feel about me.
After the way they've treated you, you've got one hell of a thick skin. You're gonna need it. It'll be good to put some distance between us. After all, look at what happened to Harvey. It'd only be a matter of time before I crossed one of your lines. Isn't that right? My copy of the Boy Scout handbook is out of date. I'm bound to break some rule.
You and I may disagree on a lot of things, but I'm not worried about you.
You're that sure? Bruce, I think I finally get what this is all about. You're upset that I'm leaving. What'd you think? That because we had a sleepover, we're best friends? Is that what you really thought?
Well, maybe it meant nothing to you, but what happened between us meant something to me.
But we didn't even sleep with her.
Bruce, didn't know you were the sensitive type.
Just stop the show, Selina. Stop pretending nothing matters.
Look, Bruce, I'll admit that what you and I had, it wasn't terrible. But you were just another job. A more intriguing job than I was expecting. But still a job.
Really feel like Catwoman
I'm done with you.
could have easily been taken out of this
I'm
story.
not a good person.
Like, she's really not adding anything.
I don't want to be. I'm a thief.
She's a romantic interest, yes, but she's a romantic interest that was doomed.
I never pretended to be anything else.
Stop. That's not true. I know there's more to you than that. You're just afraid to admit it.
You'd like it if that were true, wouldn't you? Why would you even think
In this universe,
I've made my feelings
I kind of...
clear. Why aren't you listening?
You saved my life. You could have left me to die back in that warehouse, but you didn't. Someone who's only out for herself, who's just a thief, wouldn't do that.
Oh yeah?
She could have pretty much
Good person. That's who.
just been a foil that you fought at the very beginning of episode 1 and then just never seen her again.
After I found out you were Batman, I thought nothing else could surprise me. But you just keep on surprising me.
And see, this feels like some players in particular would just desperately want to keep her as a romantic interest.
It's been fun.
But we kind of know that's never going to happen. I also kind of know she probably stole the thing back off of Bruce Wayne.
Bye, Bats.
Because I'd assume that's the case.
Lucius, I've got the
And see, he's now back to the Wayne
hold
Tech
on,
phone.
Alfred's on the line. Hey, Alfred.
Phone is actually way too big.
She's here. I tried to keep them out.
Just like giant
Alfred?
phablet sized. Half phone, half tablet. Yeah. It's pretty much been every single recording I've made, we end on the exact same note, really. It's like barely anything happens. When you do have gameplay, it sucks. Half of the conversations and interactions are of just zero consequence and don't matter. There is a potential good game out there in a slightly improved Telltale style, where it's all about romancing Catwoman, Selina Kyle. And that would be fine. In a lot of ways, since Telltale games are effectively visual novels, it's surprising that half of them aren't dating simulations or romance games, or at least have that aspect. But clearly the writers they were hiring don't know how to write that, and I would say that's probably true for most Batman writers. Don't know how to really write romance, and most video game writers probably don't know how to write romance. And in fairness, I don't know if there are too many TV or movie writers out there that even know how to write romance. It's such a boys' club, for lack of a better explanation. I imagine that the people who do write romance novels are isolated in a completely different group that doesn't socialize with most other writers. But you would definitely have to say that was the focus. You wouldn't make a game called Batman the Telltale series if it was a romance. You would make something called Batman: In Love, the Telltale series, and then you could definitely have thrown Vicky Vale in there, and you could have had maybe the Penguin, but not Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent doesn't really help the story, particularly now that he's completely missing, and the Penguin's barely helps the story. But I could see a romance game focused around Bruce Wayne a lot and Batman very little, and then Lady Arkham turns out to be Vicky Vale at the end, or even Catwoman turns out to be Lady Arkham and it's a costume on top of a costume, or false identity on top of a false identity. You could have even gone even crazier and said that Catwoman developed a split personality and is Catwoman and Lady Arkham, and then she's trying to cure it with a drug, cure her split personality, and then accidentally that gets given to Harvey Dent and creates Two-Face at the last second, or as a tease for the next game. But that's not what this game is, certainly. So Catwoman has played very little role in the interconnecting story. So of the characters I would get rid of, I'd get rid of Lieutenant Gorgon, or Gordon, whatever his name is. I think it's Gorgon. He was totally unnecessary. I would get rid of Catwoman. I would get rid of Montoya, the police lady. If somebody needs to be killed, it should have been Montoya, not Lieutenant Gorgon, because there's just no point in that other than as lazy writing to explain how Lieutenant Gordon is going to become Commissioner Gordon in the future. You really didn't get much about the kid, and I bet he doesn't show up again. The new kid adopted by the Vales. So you could probably have eliminated him as a character easily. You probably should have eliminated the Joker. There's no reason for him to really show up yet. You could easily eliminate Falcone and Hill, or at least merge those two characters into one. It would be a lot better if over the 5 episodes we were fighting one specific enemy and a lot more focused on that one specific enemy. It would also have been a lot better if Lady Arkham had tried to commit more crimes, or just random crimes were being committed by the children of Arkham, for you to potentially have more gameplay. That is something certainly Arkham Asylum manages to do. Is there is clearly, when you play Arkham Asylum, sections where you're supposed to just take people out in a specific room and use your stealth and your bat gadgets to accomplish that. And they are just there to give you gameplay and make it feel like you're interacting. And what happens is you'll clean out a room. Usually you'll have to clean out an entire dungeon of maybe 6 or 7 rooms, and then you'll walk into an area, and then it will start a cutscene in which you see like the Joker talking to you, and that's where you get your narrative. If anything, Telltale Games have failed miserably because they're trying to keep the narrative so close to the gameplay mechanics, when most games actually keep the gameplay mechanics fairly far away from it. A noticeable example of that is at a certain point in the BioShock game, the story needs you to kill off a character, and there aren't really a lot of cutscenes in BioShock where it would just show you video. So instead they have to take complete control away from the character to have you kill off the character that needs to be killed off. But that's kind of shocking, and it's supposed to be shocking because that doesn't really happen. The only other times you see anything close to a cutscene is you'll see film images, or the game will show you tutorial videos when you get a new skill, or at the very end of the game you see a cutscene. Anyways, I feel like I'm rambling on, and I do want to just kind of wrap up this game. So that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.